by the way.
You
Better
too.
late than never. Welcome everybody to another episode of Pages from Rock Bottom. I'm Matt. This is my wife Kim. Tonight we are joined by Misty Deboard. Is that
From
how you
Yes,
say it?
yeah,
yes,
D-board.
board.
Nailed it.
Yeah, D-board. From survival mode to peace within. Trigger warning, guys. This episode contains discussion of child sexual abuse, substance use, addiction, including meth and fentanyl, overdose, profanity, death, suicide attempts, suicidal ideation, human trafficking, violence, and trauma. And viewer discretion is advised. This conversation is real, it's raw, and intended to bring awareness, hope, and healing. If you or anybody your love is struggling, let me get all this out. Please reach out for support.
Do that.
All right, Misty, tell us who you are and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Misty Deboard. I'm from Benton, Ohio, which is Guya County.
Okay, she's from Vinton. Shout out to Vinton. All right, Misty, take us back. Take us back when everything started for you.
Okay, I'm gonna go back as far as I can remember. At the age of 4 years old, I lived in a little town in a village called Oak, Ohio. Me and my sibling was sexually assaulted as a child, so I carried a lot of complex trauma. I started fighting at a very young age. I didn't understand why, and so I was in and out of mental institutions for suicide attempts. I self
Mm,
harmed really bad. I didn't have idea why I was doing these behaviors until just a couple years ago I took some trauma therapy at Minigreed. Um, so throughout the years, carrying all that stuff, I was looked at as pretty much a violent person when deep inside I really have a heart for others.
mm,
I started smoking marijuana when I was 11 years old. It seemed to help with the anxiety. I would take, I didn't really realize this until like the other day I got taken back and like, man, if my parents could have, I was getting off my addiction when I was looking for cough medication. Anything that said it would cause drowsiness, I would take it. I just wanted to sleep. So at the age of 40, I know I'm leaving a big gap in here, I apologize, but I fell into true true addiction. I got introduced to methamphetamine when I
oh,
was off to the races.
yep.
Um,
Been there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I didn't know about like this addiction. I did not understand or have any knowledge of the dark side that addiction brings. I have 3 children and I have 4 grandchildren. I had never been away from my children, and in 2019 and the beginning of 2020, I got sent to prison. I did it 10 months. Did I got to get out with no parole, no probation. I've not been in any trouble since then, thank God. But the main thing is that after I went through my complex, like with the trauma therapy, they taught me more than just go through a trauma session. They was able to really crack me open, help me learn there was a new way of thinking. I never knew that I could stop and think about anything and react different. I only do one mode my whole life. And so getting through all that, that's where I found my peace. I was
Mm,
able to find out who I really was because I lost my identity at a very young age from the molestation and abuse that I went through. So I always packed low self-esteem. I never felt what it felt like to be pretty until coming home from prison. Um, I got to work on myself. So with going through that, going through my trauma stuff, I feel like God created and birthed a whole new person.
mm,
Um, I where addiction took me, um, I got addicted to the methamphetamine, but it also having acquaintance that was plugged in as a big time dealer. Um, put our family at a very high risk. So I see things that people shouldn't see, and that messed me up even worse with me having a lot of trauma from my childhood. I'm glad that I got out away from all that because I wasn't cut out for that stuff. I really wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you shared it. You said that you were sexually abused when you were a child, right?
Yes,
How
yes.
did that impact you as you got older?
It impacted me a lot. I was not. I could never have a healthy relationship with anyone. Um, I didn't even like with my sexual life. I really didn't get to full. I'm just gonna put this out there. I never got to experience another guy until I was really older and I feel because
Yeah.
my body still has that memory from a childhood.
Yeah.
So getting healed helped me to become a real woman.
Mm.
Um, it, I never did really wear makeup because I felt like I would always wear just eyeliner, but I was afraid to dress like a girl, so I still today wear t-shirt and jeans. I felt that as long as I didn't really, no one would mess with me.
Mm.
I It really messed me up by feeling like I was worthless, always feeling like it was my fault,
Yeah.
feeling like I wasn't ever good enough. Um, it helped. It helped me to. Well, I don't want to really say help me, but it was my way of hiding, I guess. So
Oh, yeah.
this is harder than I thought. I know I jumped all over the place, but
You're doing great.
one of the main things is, and what my long term goal is I want to be a trauma specialist for the youth because
Mm.
I know that it still happens today, but you don't hear very many people talk about those particular things, and then if they do, they drop their heads, they're shameful from it. And I just want girls and boys to know that it's not our fault, and there is a way to heal. And I used to think that I would want to harm my predators, but I just felt myself praying for them. And when I felt myself not wanting the revenge is when I found the freedom from the bondage of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there, though. It's hard to get there when somebody's harmed you in ways that, especially at young ages, that you don't understand. Um,
It put me in the system. I was labeled at 13 years old as an unruly child when all I wanted was a different way of living. And when I watched Jelly Roll's documentary, it really hit home with me because I was one of those kids that was put in and out of juvenile halls. Looked at like I was just a behavioral child, but those behaviors were stimulated from my
yeah.
had not been nurtured and set into one home. My grandparents did step up and really try to help us a lot, but I wanted to chase the other side of my family, hoping that I would get to be with my mother. Um,
Mm.
I I never dreamed that I would fall into addiction because I just knew
Yeah.
I never wanted to thing that my parents had done. But when I was introduced to meth, it was doing. Um,
Yeah. I did the same thing. I always try to run from, I didn't want to be my mom. I didn't want to be my dad, but I ended up just like both of them,
For sure.
drinking, drugs, bars, you know what I mean? Men, whatever I could do, you know what I mean? I ended up just
yeah,
like them.
I didn't come close to like them. I have really tried to really stick and break things with my children and my grandchildren. But at the end of the day, how I felt them was putting myself in a situation that caused me to either be set up or sent away from them through prison.
Yeah.
I did get sheltered from them, but I don't know. This is hard.
I know. So tell us what did normal feel like for you back then when everything started for you?
Um, all I knew was pain, so I thought that was my normal. If
Yeah.
something didn't, I thought that that was very abnormal. I became a self harmer if there wasn't no pain from somebody else. I would cause it to myself because that was my normal.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
my time to I went did some treatment at TCC in Portsmouth also, and that is where I learned to not have to harm myself anymore. And I feel like even like it ruined my relationship because if someone was like really good to me, I didn't understand why. I really would look for something that I could pick out that was at fault why I should be there or honestly why I should like stay out. So
Yeah.
it was really bad. But today I'm glad that I do know what a healthy relationship looks like. I'm not been in one. I don't want to take that risk yet. But I I've learned that I don't always have to be right. They don't always have to be right, and I learned what a red flag was. My last serious relationship I spent in it for 13 years. There was a lot of red flags. That's where I was introduced to narcotics for a period of time to that was his addiction, and it was crazy. I hate to admit it, but I was the abuser. He would go off and he was an IV user that he tried to hid from me, which he did a very good job for the first 5 years. But I just I was abused physically. I couldn't mentally abuse anybody. But today I'm very thankful that going through these programs and working the 12 steps, it helped me to learn that I don't have to react. I
Mm.
always use that impulse, and I don't have to act on impulse anymore. I have walked away from so many fights, but growing up, I've always thought that meant you were weak. But no, that showed me that I was very strong. And the first time that a female had came toe to toe with me, and I didn't even think about hitting her or anything, that spoke volume to me because that was my first time.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just helped me to see because my kids are telling me, all these negative things because they weren't used to me doing that. But all the behaviors that I carried was all I knew. I didn't know there was any other way to behave. I didn't know there was any other way to think. And I'm just glad that I can think different today. And I'm hoping and praying that not just youth. The reason why I really focus on the youth is because I know when I was that age, I would have loved to have someone that has the knowledge that I have in the heart. I could
Mm.
have been in a different place in life today, but God has put me on some crazy journeys. I had been over in West Virginia for like 25 years. Um, my addiction led me over there, and that's where I became addicted to human trafficking. Um, I used to think that human trafficking, and I used to joke about it when I would get high, like, oh, well, take me and sell me and give the money to my kids. That wasn't what it's all about. Um, I was very vulnerable. I didn't know what vulnerability was at the time. And I
Yeah.
go there, third, a place to stay, food, free drugs, and they gained control of it. And one of them ended up, there was three of them. One that fell in love with me and took me up in the woods in a camper and kept me for some time. And that was the most darkest time of whole life, even through my
Mm.
childhood. I wasn't allowed to leave the camper. There was no running water there. We had extension cords. I have a 2-inch scar on my neck from him sticking a knife in my neck, just walking from the back to the front of the camper. But at the end of the day, I got to earn that shit too. Because with him, he fresh out of prison. He's got a new 2023 truck. He's got $20,000 in his pocket with him. So I was going with him. Didn't have
Yeah.
no clue what taking me to.
Mm. So how did you get out of that situation?
He took me to meet pizza delivery guy at this church in Henderson, West Virginia, and I jumped out of a truck.
Ooh.
I felt that I was going to die either way, and I have pictures of it, but you can tell God was involved in it. Considering the payment, it should have broke my skin, but it didn't. So I got away, but getting away from them physically didn't stop the phone calls, the threat to kill me and my kids. I had to hide for 2 years.
Oh.
Last year was the first time that I actually did not have to look over my shoulder. I didn't have to really worry. Um, it really put me in a bad place because I never had spoken about it before. And when I wrote down the CCC, it two levels popped up with me. Then I got busted. But again, I put myself there by being blindsided by the addiction part of it. You know, I'm thinking, okay, as long as I'm good as this man, I love him, I'm going to. I've always saying that it was a total nightmare. Um, so with that dark time, I wasn't involved in anybody getting hurt or coming up missing or killed or anything, but I witnessed all things with my ears and my eyes that I will never be able to forget about. Um, it's a very sad world out there, and the addiction and drugs take a person to a much darker place. Um, I've sat in groups in therapy, group therapy with people, and hear so many people talk about, doing this favor, that favor, but when you have family that is plugged in right under one of the bigger heads, it's really not a fun and game. It's very serious because the money always has to be on point. People have lost their lives over, that money not being there. Have family that's been threatened that, they would be hurt or others would be hurt. The money wasn't there. So, saying all that is, and I say up here, is because a lot of people, we don't stop and think about what does that dealer go through. What kind of are we bringing to them when we're not paying that first bill? And
Yeah.
it's very sad because until you've had your children and yourself that you be killed or skinned alive in front of you, it brings a whole new outlook on why that's not stop this one out here, still something, take it to the dope to go over here and do sexual favors because there's a family that pays dearly for that.
Mm. Yeah. Mm. So you mentioned that you were moving around constantly and not knowing where you would stay, and how did that instability shape you?
Um, it really messed me up a lot by not because we would be left with sometimes people that were just family friends, and it just kept impacting me by taking my true identity away.
Ooh.
I I was raising female in my family for many years as like grandkids or anything like that. So when I would get left places, I had no choice but to wear boy clothes. Um, I'm really lucky though. I got against it. God has kept me straight though. But
Yeah.
um, but it it was really hard. That's why with my children, I try to keep a structured home. I really did try hard to. my dad used to think that I was hard on my kids about with their homework and keeping their grades. But no one never sat us down and made us do homework.
Yeah.
No one never, no one never made us or told us to get there and brush our teeth. No one never really took us to the dentist and those things. So I feel I was really robbed of all that. I feel that if I would have been blessed to be one of the children that had that structure in that home, because we were in and out of so many different schools that I didn't have time to learn anyone's name.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think I knew how to read until in 2000, as when I first experienced my higher power, which is Jesus. I said that was the Bible, and I'm laughing like, what I just did. But I'm really impressed of what I really did know, what I do know, and that I was capable. And I feel like it made me maybe a little harder on, like, especially my oldest daughter. I tried to do everything so much by what is a good parent that I was a little too strict. And when I finally opened the gates for her, she was getting ready to turn 16, and I was going to let her go out with her female friends. I'm keeping her so tied down. After she got pregnant at her 15th birthday party, I thought I was doing right.
Yeah.
I was keeping her separate. I let her friends come over. They could spell night, but I didn't want her going anywhere to spell night because I knew people were at night and
Yeah.
children, and I did not want that to happen to her.
Yep.
That happened to me when I was younger, so I was able to. My body had learned how to just sleep through that happening to me.
Yep.
I have night terrors at times. The
Night
body
terrors.
keeps score, but no matter how much I heal, there's certain smells, certain places
Yep.
that my body still remembers. So I have inner nerve problem pretty bad. That now I don't have a self talk to tell
Yeah.
myself hey, this isn't going to happen anymore. It keeps my senses on strong alert, and I can feel like different vibes. Some people think that that I'm crazy at times, but they just haven't had to live through that. But the body will let me know when the things to be
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the things that made me that impacted me being addicted to methamphetamine. I was able to stay. I felt like it even kept me on a stronger alert,
Yep.
and
Continuously on alert for sure. Yeah. But
yeah,
your body, you remembers those, that trauma. So it's a trauma response. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I used to be, I still do it too today, but like it was bad at first, but I've learned how to work through things, but certain smells, or you couldn't grab me from behind, you know what I mean? Like there was different trauma responses that like absolutely just I still can't to this day do. So, because we may heal a little bit, or we do heal, maybe not, a little bit wasn't the word, but we do heal. But our body still remembers those things. You know what I mean? Our brain still remembers those things. So it reacts to those
Yeah, our
things.
brain will do it subconsciously.
Yeah. So, and that's
yes,
just
I'm
real.
reading the book right now, and it's a very good book. I have a hard time getting through books very fast because I got to dissect them. But it's
Yeah.
called The Body War, and there were things that I even had kind of forgot or compressed so deep down that, especially coming home, and I'm not on like no spice meds or anything anymore. That my body has told me, like, wow. So that I start having this whole vision play back, and coming back to my hometown, it's been kind of hard. I have had relapse from lack of my working my program and sticking by the recovery community. And one of the hardest things is feeling the nervous system shaking inside, feeling the coldness in the bones, like you're withdrawing from the tannins or something. And it all just be from my body remembering. So, and
Yep.
I have to stay mindful daily, actually, let my body know when I feel things that I'm safe, I'm okay. That's not going to happen to me today. And my older brother, he came to my house one time and he swore that I had cameras that I could tell just by a scent and a ringing in my ear that somebody was about to knock on the door or was around the house.
Mm.
It seems weird that I have 2018 was the last time that I attempted suicide. It wasn't that I really wanted to die; I wanted the pain to stop. And
Mm.
so it's weird that now I find myself asking God to please let me live another 40 some years to be able to help others come through what I've been through. I should never really experience homelessness, um, but I was praying one day as I was walking to a abandoned car to get a change of clothes, and God was telling me, how can I help somebody if I hadn't experienced it? And that's why I always try to reach out to people that are in these trap houses or on these streets because I know that the more that my family would reject me, the deeper I would go.
Oh yeah.
And I don't ever want to be that kind of person that, you know, thinks that I'm better than anybody else because we never know somebody else's story or what put them. Like I've
Absolutely.
had things that, you go off and you're choosing to get high. It's your fault this happened, your fault that's happening. When I probably wouldn't have been in as long as I would have had the love that a lot of us don't ever get. And I witnessed it that I, that people that went through it that are IV users, like with the heroin or the fentanyl, cause them even do more, just waiting for that overdose death. Wanting it
Yeah.
to, because they didn't really believe in suicide, but it was just a slow way. So I try to really, show that we're no saints, even the saints that think they're saints aren't saints. Because I've been in situations, even like with this, when I was in the West Virginia with the human trafficking, there's been several times I really had to cry out to God and I could feel his supernatural power give me the strength to get through it. I would have never made it through some things that wouldn't have been for him showing up and giving me that extra strength. When I got out of the hospital in 2018, I go to Jackson County, Ohio, where I was living, and I go to meet the officer, and he had tears and said that I was a walking miracle. I did a gram of raw fentanyl,
Mm.
thinking that would kill me, and the people that were in my house at the time thought they were doing the right thing, I guess. They threw me into cold water, which threw me into hypothermia, and I laid there though as a day for 5 days. When I was able to come off the ventilator and stuff, I called my brother and my niece and told him where I was, what was going on. Um, I got out on the seventh day, and when I came home, the people were still living in my home, but they had robbed it. They stole all my stuff. They thought that I had died, and
Mm.
my youngest daughter tried to tell my family something wasn't right because I still reach out to them daily, but they thought I was just out on a mission. I was just out getting high. So that's why I really think it's important that we check on our people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm always checking on my brother. If I don't hear from my brother, because he's still out in active addiction, and if I don't hear from him, I'm like, I got to check on my brother. If he doesn't answer the phone, or if I ain't got no way to get a hold of him, I'm in that car just to go check. You know what I mean? Because I know like where he's at right now is not a good place for him to be. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely take her advice, heed her advice. Like, go check on your people. Go check on them. Just saying,
Yeah,
guys.
it's just, a lot of times there are people that, family thinks that, well, they're just out there getting high, but they could be held hostage. They could be tied up somewhere. I don't know what they're actually going through. Until you've really been out here on these battlefields of
Yeah.
addiction and selling drugs, it's a very deadly, dark place.
Yeah, it is for sure.
I have a brother that is going 28 years today from, I thought I was saying about victims to fentanyl, but no matter if you're the user or the dealer, you're still a victim to it.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. How did drugs what did drugs do for you emotionally, you think? Like
Well,
how do
I
you think they
felt,
emotionally drove you?
well, how I felt that it was like a good thing for me, I thought, was that I could focus on one thought at a time. And where I had ADHD that wasn't treated, I felt like the methamphetamine made that slow down, where I could think of one thing at a time. I didn't have 1,500 projects going on like most do. It affected me to where I felt focused, I thought. And then by not really ever having true pleasure in my life, the way that the brain diseases with it, I was getting that false sense of
Yeah.
hope that I'm feeling some type of pleasure. And then the day that I really fell in love with the med pipe was that I could wake up and it was still there beside me. It was the only thing that had never left.
Mm, yeah. You described it as taking you into like a dark nightmare. What did that look like for you today, from day to day?
Um, Not knowing if who around me was going, if I was going to see someone get killed, if I was going to, be taken somewhere that you're going to smell that's there from, you know, from people that have passed and people scared what to do with them.
Mm,
And it put me in some bad situations. It's sort of at one point, it's like I guess I'm I'm blessed that I never had to be in that kill or be killed, but in the drug world, that's real.
yeah.
Um,
Take that risk every day when you're out there.
yeah,
Yeah. Every day.
it, yeah, because it's I know when I first entered into that world, I had no clue. Which I had family that tried to keep me sheltered from that, but God said different. I really feel that my whole addiction, my whole experience was a God thing. I really feel that it was, the spiritual part of it. Um, I thought that it was fun and games. I thought, hey, we go get dope, we go get high, everything's good. But
Yeah.
no, people gain control by giving you drugs. They make you their opinion. And I'm really blessed that I didn't have the fentanyl addiction, so I didn't have to be willing to do anything to stop me being sick.
Yeah.
I witnessed people beg, what could they do, for, anything to not be sick. And it's sad when the person that has that authority can have someone take someone else's life so they won't be sick.
Mm,
It makes people fall victim because until they're able to, not only repent of it, but tell someone, but then how would they, So it's very sad. I'll never be able to forget smell of death. I can't watch horror movies. While I was at Manor Beach, there was an incident where a boy had stabbed a boy with a plastic fork that he bled out, but it took me way back to the time that I witnessed my father stab a man 75 times.
mm,
I remember the day like it was yesterday when I had the flashback from it.
yeah.
Like buried at that cemetery, so I don't go there. I used to go there at the beginning of it, but I couldn't figure out at the time why I was still want to film there until I seen the little girl standing there, really scared, crying. It was really bad. Um,
So you witnessed a lot of death and trauma during your addiction. How did that impact your mental state?
it really messed me up. It made me have some type of, I guess, I don't really, it's like a fear, you know what I mean? I always feared if something was going to happen to me or my kids because of that, or how easy that I could be sitting in the trap house or a dealer's house and someone kicked that door open just to go start shooting. People think that that doesn't happen here in our region, but it does. And so I like to I got to a point that I wanted to find one friend and I wanted to go one at a time so we get high and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, so you lost your father due to a drug related situation. How'd that affect your addiction?
Um, well, that messed me up really bad. I went deeper into my addiction, but then at the same time, I felt like I was seeking for information.
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt if I could go over to this killer's house, I go over to this house, I could be talking about this, and I could put together what really went on.
Yeah.
My father was killed in 2019, and I had lost 6 males on my side and my kids' dad's side, and I had a best friend that wife had got killed, and he did the time for it, and it really made me feel abandoned.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
today, with my brother being in prison and my dad being gone, and my kid, it took me to get a car. I finally got a car. My recovery helped me get license insurance and a vehicle, and not having them here makes life a little harder. So one of the things that was the hardest for me with my father was that he had cancer. He went to the doctor and said he had strep throat and he was stage 4 cancer, and he
Mm.
beat it. He even got out, cut hay, and stuff with the feeding tube while he was fighting the cancer. He went about a year of being cancer free, and he gets sick. Because out here in this world, people kill people if they know things they should know.
Yeah. People
There's
kill
one
people
thing.
just to kill people anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
insane. It is
uh,
insane.
it really is. It's now going through all that, looking like on this side, it's really sad that it's not only insane, but the people that don't even have a clue what goes on around them.
Yeah.
I've witnessed, um, you know, I want to say that I felt like I was glad that I wasn't a fentanyl user. Not that I discriminate, but I don't understand why you want to set somebody sound asleep and all nodded out, don't know what's going on around you,
Yeah.
and wake up fucking nightmare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where's my friend? Why is there blood everywhere? Well,
Yeah.
so,
I liked it
so
all, you know?
Yeah. I was a dumpster.
I would
He
just
said
say
he
that,
said I was a dumpster.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know factuals to it because but I was thinking, man, with all the pain I had, and seeing how people can do a shot, and they're out for a while, I
Yeah.
was really like, wow. I even was like, God, why did I never go that route? The things that I would have want to numb it all.
Yeah.
But the only thing I've witnessed that it does is like taking an old wound and putting a cast on it without killing it. When you take that cast off, you got all that gangrene and then it's spread down to the
Yep.
bone. And I've watched many people's lives really stink from it.
Yeah. So you went to treatment a couple of times, right? And that failed.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what made it finally stick for you this time around?
Focusing on the mental health.
Mm.
The drug was a solution to a much deeper problem.
Yeah.
Drugs was just, like I said, the solution to a problem that when I started going through all my different layers,
Yep.
it was like I was just saying a minute ago, it was, I had to have a bone marrow then. I had some shit that had built up and it built up and it built up, and I never did, I just kept squashing as best I could. So when I finally went the last time, I focused on my mental health.
Mm.
And that's where I never, it's sad to say, but I didn't even know what emotion was, even though I was emotionally disaster.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, and I definitely didn't know how to handle them. I handled everything prior to the addiction I had just through silence. Fight, I just fought a lot. But I feel that I wouldn't have got the mental health help the way that I did if I wouldn't have fell into my addiction. Because what good came from my addiction was finding a treatment place that focused on like the complex trauma. Because
Yep.
I've been in and out of mental hospitals and things, but no one never had the education, or it wasn't spoken on about trauma back then, or it was just slap a pill on it, or
Yeah.
they wasn't medicated instead of digging to find out what is really in there. Because there was things to me I didn't even know that was affected.
Yeah.
There's a pill that'll fix everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you heard up, you're not allowed to speak on some things, or when we were a child, we tried to speak on it, we would just get our ass whooped, be told to be quiet,
Yeah.
or they felt like we were lying. It really hurts for my heart for like my older sibling, because he, back when we were younger, he went back to predators, to let me go, and to use him. He would steal pop machines, stuff out hotels to get us pop and stuff. And I feel like they put him at a whole worse place throughout his life, because he was the provider, the protector, and that's one of the things I feel that I didn't have out here now. So I have to rely on my higher power to keep
Mm.
do all these things for me. It's one of the things that I really got to feel when I knew as true love was when I went to my first outdoor NA meeting at Portsmouth, and I'd never seen so many people at a meeting, let alone loving each other, helping each other, and not even expecting anything back. And it gave
Mm.
me hope. It gave me hope that I'd never had before. It gave me a vision that I never had.
Yeah. Yeah. You're learning, about how your mental health, affects you and how it plays a big role in like your use and why you chose to go to drugs to begin with. It gives you a different understanding.
Yeah.
Um,
It intensifies my impulsive decisions.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
everyone says, like in my hometown, everyone always says, "Oh, she's crazy, she's crazy." And Tom was talking about time he met one of the boys that was on, I guess he works with him, and then my name got brought up, and then talking about being crazy. But it's not that I was ever crazy. It was all I knew. And if we don't know something, and we only have one way of thinking and handling things, that's all we know.
Yep.
So, being able to learn a new way to think, a new way to react, a new way that I don't have to react. I never ever even knew that we could stop and pause for somebody came in and I felt a threat to like me or whoever I was with, I was instantly ready to fight or dead. I it's kind of crazy, but I'm glad I'm set free from it. Gary Rose, I didn't mean to about his documentary, but if you guys watch it, it speaks volumes. And there's so many, because I was one of them, there's so many out here that they don't know either. They don't know any other way to love or be loved or to react because they've never seen it. They've never been shown. They've never had anyone sit down and help them to look at that what's going on in them without them feeling like they're the fault, the blame. I would have loved to do it earlier, but I didn't, and for some reason, that I can take by, I can help somebody because there is so much freedom in it. I was working on getting my CBCA back in 2018, and I thought a lot, but I never had an assault on me. And then I was falsely accused of assault, so I was foolish, so I did it with quit. So it just messed up my record. I didn't realize how important I got a record, criminal, or just getting those labels, how it would affect you until going through my treatment, coming home, not only being a felon, but you're already looked at it differently. That's very hard to clear off.
Yeah. Our past, man, it'll catch up with us in a second. And you think, oh my God, left all that behind. I've done all these things. And then bam, your past is knocking on your door, But hey, you've turned your life around, right? What does your life look like today compared to back then?
I'm a lot happier today. I don't have to act through violence. I do not have to self-harm. I do not have to try to commit suicide. I have a roof over my head. I have a vehicle of my own. I'm able to show up when my kids or my grandkids meet me. I smile more. I don't have to find medicine bottles that they may cause drugs. I don't have to stay impacted by a drug or a substance daily. I'm able to pick up a book. I have all kinds of books in my house that remind me that there's a simple way to live. There's a simple solution to a bigger problem. And that's another thing that was a big thing to me is like, got the simplest solution, the simplest thing that could fix so much stuff.
So what does peace look like for you today?
It's awesome. I really like it. I never got to meditate before. I have never grounded before. It's nice to be able to sit and not have anything go through my mind. It's nice to sit outside and have my eyes closed and not have to see red. I thought that all those years that was just a normal, that, it's the blood flow, but no, it was just a bunch of junk that was in there. So I got to go through a therapy with crystal bowls where it makes certain pictures that help break all that down. So when I find myself really getting in a bad area, that's how I check in. I will close my eyes and see what color I'm seeing. So I like the light gray and the white. I like feeling the mind just being still. Happy to always have something negative on my mind. Negativity is all I ever do. So it's nice to be able to think positive and watch things happen better.
Yeah.
I have learned that if you really want something in your life, pray about it and not let everyone know about it. Because not everybody rides in your boat before you.
So how is your relationship with your children today? Like, you still working on your relationships? Is it better? How's your relationship?
It could be better. One of the things is that we go away to treatment, but our children don't. So, I come home, I'm healed, my kids aren't. And while I was
Mm,
gone, my kids fell into addiction with alcohol themselves because, not only are they starting to develop attachment disorders or abandonment issues, um, they have those. Um, so now it's very hard trying to gain their trust back. And then, with having relapse on board, they look at a certain way, or they look at me a certain way. But in the small town, I think a lot of it is impacted by different ones that are in there here.
yeah.
Um, when I first came back and we first got our home, it was very nice. They had an older sibling that was poisoned. That poison was pretty bad. The last time I went back yet to treatment, it was very shocking for me and my youngest one because I was the one that called for CPS to come and drug screen me to show my middle child that I wasn't using things that I felt against.
Mm,
So it was very hard. So while I was gone, the home I kind of put together for me and the girls became teenage trap house pretty much with the older siblings, the
yeah.
adults. So I'm still in the process of cleaning up that aftermath. But I really wish that I prayed daily. Every night I prayed on wishing that they had treatment in apartments where the whole family lives together and lives together
Yeah.
because it's hell to come home to broken children.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
not blaming it on anything. I'll take full responsibility, but coming home and then still being broken, you being happy, you having a solution, and then it makes them kind of look at you differently that led up to a bunch of pain that I carried that caused me to relapse.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm,
I can't fix them. I can try to share what I've learned with what I've shared with them many times that to give me one summer, and this summer is the summer I asked, give me one summer to share with you what works for me in those situations. If it doesn't work for you, then I'll walk away. But I know it'll work because it's a simple solution that works for many of us.
yeah. Well, hopefully, you guys can reconnect and you guys can work together on building your relationship together.
Yes,
I
I'm. It's hard. I'm sure you guys have. A lot of us moms and dads on here have experienced it. It's we don't want to be drill sergeants either, but we can't go back and undo what we've done. And we tell them we're sorry and just hope that they can take something and learn something and not go down that path. Because what
yeah.
I've been up this last month is my 16-year-old battles with mental health issues, and she's starting to turn to alcohol.
Yeah.
And that's just to make the depression worse. So it's hard to step back and watch. It's um, it's just really sad. But I am thankful for the whole narcotic program. Um, first time I worked at STEP, I never forget the day that I had a hard time with step one because I didn't understand how I was powerless. I called my
Mm,
brother up and he starts just laughing. And I'm not thinking this is funny. I'm like, Jim, this ain't funny. How am I powerful and stuff? He said, well, go ahead and pick up that pipe. He said, if you can hit it one time and not pick it back up ever again, good go. He said, but go pick it up again. He said, you're going to become powerless over it. So it was able to show me that I really was powerless over it.
yeah.
So I felt I feel like my relationship with God got stronger through the first time I worked with that. And then every time I work him, I feel like I find out something new about myself.
Mm.
I don't do inventories, I do autopsies on myself to try to find out where could I have done something different? Where was my
Yeah.
role in that?
Yeah. I like that. She said, I don't do inventories, I do autopsies on myself. And that's real shit right there. Like, that's real.
Yeah,
Um,
when I first before that was developed in me, I would do my inventory. You know, I go through all of it, but when I really would sit and dissect the whole day, because when I first started working my program very strongly, it was what helped me was to dissect it. You know what I mean? I went in,
yeah.
I did a lot of stuff because I can't go through life just blaming somebody. Somewhere I had to play in it. And after learning a new way to behave and a way to control myself, I had to learn to blame it myself. If I allow
Mm,
someone to get to me because I'm not accepting something and I gave them full control of my emotions or the
Mm.
situation.
mm. Yeah, you've talked about writing a book. What would you want people to learn from it?
Well, the book that with the addiction, I want to write a book, The Dark Side of the Crystal Ball. Um, I would want people to learn that there is a dark side to addiction that a lot of times people don't speak on.
Mm,
Sometimes there's people that don't make it out to speak on it, and I want them to really know the monsters that are really out there. They're not just in a slacker's head or people's head. There are really, really people out there that do some crazy shit.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of them are right in plain sight, and you see them every day.
Yeah.
And they're people
Yeah,
that you wouldn't even think, guys. You wouldn't even think. And those are the
yeah.
scariest ones.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
I try to, I try to let my kids know because I have one that doesn't believe in God, but just because a church is over there and there's a preacher over there, don't mean that preacher who he really says he is. Because we've had a few churches with our family. We've had a few so-called preachers that was very, very dark.
Mm.
And not only the military ain't anything that gears up for war. They're not anything deer hunters aren't the ones that camouflage them.
Mm.
And then I want to write about also there's no high heels in prison. I never dreamed I'd go to prison. I thought if I ever did, it would be someone touching my children by the memory. But you know, so what I would want to submit is I came out of there having very high self-esteem and feeling positive, and just that there are choices that we can make after that in the
Well, you know what? Thank you. We was having some technical issues at the very beginning, but you know what? You got on here and we got it. Did it
yes,
took
and
us like 10 minutes.
I have a notebook at home, and I'm sorry that it was all over the place. I didn't used to stay focused on a lot of things I thought that God really wanted me to touch on. But
Yeah.
I had a friend mushrooming today, and she was lost in the woods. So I know a little bit about the area, so she finally found her way to 160. So I went to rescue her.
Yeah.
So I showered here, I had to get ready here, and this was around like little after 1:30, and so we
Yeah.
were
Did
worried
she
we
find
were
mushrooms at least?
and so I kept praying. Then when I got on here and I got in the car, had the quiet time and and we had those problems. I was like, oh my gosh, the devil's winning. I was like, I looked at home and there was so much I had written down about like the complex trauma and just the things because I feel that if you don't have mental health problems, addiction will bring it to you. And
Oh
then if
yeah,
Mm.
you
for
have
sure.
mental health
Yeah.
issues and they're not treated, you're going to probably fall victim to it.
Yeah. You can't usually you don't have one without the other, guys. I'm telling you. It's like climbing that gym, that rope in gym class for the first time. I remember back in the day when we had that rope, I had the knots in, gym class. It's like getting all the way up to the top, like you're treating your addiction, right? You get all the way up to the top, but you get up there and you're just hanging on for dear life. And then all these mental health issues just come bang and knocking, hitting the rope. And guess what? You fall back down, right?
Did you fall?
Fuck yeah, I fell.
You fell?
I
Yeah,
fell.
that's the one.
Yeah.
You fall.
Yeah, I fucking fell. Like, cause my first time, in recovery, I didn't treat nothing. I didn't treat my mental health, my depression, being raped, molested, whatever as a child, like all these things, I didn't even begin to touch or dig or into at all. Like I just pushed it all through, like, oh, I'm fixed. I'm better. I'm better.
I'm not getting high, baby. I'm good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I wasn't good. I was still
It really
seeking.
felt that we were good. We were
Yeah,
sober. That's what matters, right?
yeah, and and I was still seeking the bad the bad relationships, the negative attention. You know what I mean? Like I was still doing everything the same exact way, but I was just a dry drunk. You know what I mean? I was a dry drunk and I thought I had it. And well, guess what? I didn't have it. I didn't. But this time I really worked on my mental health and I really learned everything that I could about
It's just
the disease
different.
that was defeating me day in and day out, day in and day out. Like I wasn't going to be able to find me if I wasn't able to learn about what was really making me who I was, if that makes sense.
I had to
Yes,
understand the darkness to coexist with who I wanted to be.
Yeah, for sure. You said it.
yeah, I had a lady in an office the other day, and it's weird how you learn you can pretty much look and tell. And we just started talking, and she was telling me she just left a rehab, and she asked me where there's a 90-day rehab. I was like, we might as well not even go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, I told her I'd done that. I want the quickest, easy way. I'll get through treatment. Well, I got this. I got my 90 days. I'm sober. I'm going home. No, there's 3 years of digging in, and never realizing that you know.
Yeah.
So I feel that my addiction was um, a curse, but it was also a blessing. If I would not have fell into the addiction and had someone get CPS on me, I wouldn't be who I am today. I would still
Yeah.
be the sick.
Yep.
I'd still be
Same.
taking my 10 pills thinking I was normal and just suppressing that stuff.
I'd
Suppressing
be
it and
dead.
really suppressing it.
Yeah. Same. Same. It was a blessing in disguise, realistically. And the first time just wasn't enough for me, so I had to go back for a second round. And
First up, shit. I got like
That's
4
what you tell
tries. You
me.
know what I mean?
he
Like
said, first time, shit.
they kept sending me out to California. I'm like, vacation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to the beach.
Well, I didn't get sent to California.
I thought it was just recovery, just getting sober. I didn't realize, hey, I'm sober, I'm all right. No, true recovery is digging down in that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our
Every
addiction
time I
are
go out
lined up
there, I
one.
wouldn't. Every time I go out there, I wouldn't ever touch what truly mattered or what truly drove me to do what I do. You know what I mean? I would just get dry. They would give me a bunch of psych meds. I'd come back. People would accuse me of being high anyways because I'm so fucking high because
I'm
I'm
going to
fucked.
show
Yeah, I'm
you.
fucked up on Seroquel. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yes, I had to take 1,800 milligrams of Zocor and 4 green constants from the age of a teenager all the way up. And
Yeah.
it was really crazy because I meet the kid's dad, and he's done. He's an IV user. I don't know he's an IV user, but I'm sitting there nodding out. His friends think I'm just high too. And I was just
yeah,
dedicated to the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Seroquel will get you every time.
yeah.
Or
I know
Ambien. Don't take Ambien.
Oh, shit.
that. I know it's something. It scares me like taking stuff now because my addiction part of my brain is going to tell me that I got a pain in my foot or
Yep.
my ankle. And it's a time for me to go out and get a pain pill
Yeah.
or something or feed it one more time like that. And it's really crazy how that all operates. But yeah, I thought I really had this when I was able to get them coins and I was able to get that first year. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yep.
no. How many people that you say about, relapse part of recovery. For me, my relapse is a lack of recovery.
Mm.
The time when I relapse is when I'm not working my program, when I'm not hitting the meetings and I'm isolating, or I think I don't need meetings. I have an aunt that don't understand the meetings, but she goes to church every Sunday, so that's the best I can put it.
Well, I think it's definitely true. Relapse happens before you ever touch anything.
It does. It does.
Yeah, for me, it's
It
when
always
I
starts
stop
in my mind.
looking at my book and
Yeah.
working my stuff.
Planning it,
Yeah.
you know, or you'll find yourself falling back into old behaviors, or
Yeah.
you, like you said, you stop going to meetings and you stop, associating with people. You go silent on Facebook or social media, and it's like people know, you don't think people realize or notice it, but people notice.
Yeah.
Those are like your cues to be aware.
But I
I
also
used
got
to
to be
think,
aware how I respond to people when they call me out of my shit too, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll be like, "What's going on with you?" And if I'm defensive about it, then I know something's going on. You know what I
And
mean?
I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to.
and it's crazy how the mind will go if you're not careful with it. I feel
Yes.
like my part of my brain is always alerting to take me hostage.
Yeah. And it's like, you really want to. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
They think you're doing it anyway. They're saying you're doing it. We can just do it just one more time. Yeah.
I never smoked cigarettes, and I started smoking cigarettes when I went into recovery 3 years ago. Never touched cigarettes nothing. And I'm at Dr. Landry's office, his treatment place, and this girl brings up the vape, and I hit it, and I'm like, ooh, I'm not gonna sit down. I'm all lightheaded. Next thing you know, I'm like, go get me one of those. So then now today I'm battling with trying to light cigarettes down because I smoke like a freight train. So it's like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm always keeping months, and I'm gonna quit smoking so I start cooking.
All right, Misty, here's what is one message you want people to remember from your story?
That we are not alone, and that there is a simple program and to treat our mental health.
Mm.
And if you're stuck in something, you don't have to stay there. There is a voice out here, and there are ones like myself that have overcame a lot through a higher power.
Yes.
'Cause
And
I've
if
had
someone
good
is watching,
people.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Oh, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, if somebody is watching right now and feels hopeless, what would you say to them directly?
That there is hope. That
There is hope.
find the right people that have went before you and have worked the program. And if you have like problems with, you know, God is your higher power, just putting that higher power somewhere else will set you free and bring you hope.
Mm.
I used to be very hopeless, and I didn't think there, and that, I have to be careful because I could fall in it, at any time. But just finding that there are people out here that care, and there are ways of us getting set free from it. There's no reason really for us to go through this life feeling hopeless, worthless, and feeling like we don't have a purpose. We're all here for a reason, and it's, you know, finding that healing and finding who we really are.
Yeah. I feel like our purpose is already written. We just got to find it. It's there.
Yeah, for me, it's to stop from running from it.
There you go. And she said it. Stop running from it. Guys, you ain't got nothing to lose. Nothing. You ain't got shit to lose. You've already lost it, right? We've lost ourselves. We've lost our home. We've lost our children. We've lost all the things. You know what I mean? We've lost them. You've got nothing else to lose. So just go try it. If it doesn't, worst thing that's going to happen is it doesn't work. And you just got to keep trying until you find that sweet spot for yourself in recovery, and it finally starts to stick for you. Work on your mental health, work on yourself, work on your addiction, and trust me, the rewards at the end of it's fulfilling. Does that mean that you have to stop working on yourself? Absolutely fucking not, guys, because you have to work on yourself every day, and I mean every day for the rest of your life. The rest of your life.
Recovery does restore your life. I didn't think, and I've had to reach out to my sponsor. She's, I'm not perfect at it because I fall victim every time with my
Yeah.
thinking, but it does. I would be sitting here today, and you could have told me 4 years ago that I'd ever have my own car again. And I didn't get it by selling dope. I didn't get it by prostituting. I actually done it the right way. And doing the next right thing every time in every situation, it does have a reward.
Yes, it does. And Misty is living proof of that, guys. Misty, thank you again for joining us tonight. And like I said, I know it was a little shaky at first. At first, but you did amazing. And thank you for trusting us and sharing your story with us.
All right, thank you guys.
You're welcome. And this is what survival looks like, and this is what healing looks like, guys. Right there.
Right here.
Archer. And join us Wednesday with Miss Cheryl Willis.
Gonna be good.
Gonna be a good one.
Gonna be good.
It's gonna be a good one, guys. Hopefully, we don't have as many technical difficulties, but if we do, we will work them out and we will be on live with Cheryl on Wednesday.
Progress, not perfection.
Yes.
Okay.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You hear it? Progress, not perfection.
Soulmate.
But join us Wednesday, guys.
Did we just become best friends?
We did. We've been best friends.
Yeah.
What? Who would ever thunk it? God. Jeez.
But gold.
But gold.
Yeah.
Join us Wednesday, guys. And be on the lookout for a new shirt. A new shirt.
Be dropping.
Be dropping.
Product drop.
And don't forget, like, guys, we're making them at home.
Yep. Athens family, we will deliver to you, though.
We would. We'd love to meet you guys in person. Anyway. Yeah, Thomas. Awesome sauce. Misty, did you read that? Thomas said awesome sauce. Ashley said, so super proud of you, girl. You did an amazing job. I knew you could do it. Woo! We did it.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Woo!
Well, I think it was good. We're gonna have to get our speaker hooked up so we can hear a little bit better. But besides that, it was great. Misty, you did a fantastic job. Everybody leave her a comment. Everybody show her your support.
Show the love.
She said I was very nervous and had it all wrote down. And God took it how he wanted it. Yes, he did. And you did amazing, girl. We will upload your episode and we will make a shirt in honor of her episode. So if anybody wants to order one, send us a message. What size? It'll be white and black. Send us your size. And if you want one. Okay. I got all tongue tied. It's fine, guys. And we will see you guys Wednesday with Miss Cheryl
Willis.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Okay. Bye.